pleased to be joined by the B. No. You're not at BYU anymore, are you? You're at Kentucky now. This is just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get used to, because how about this? This is the first time, Mark Pope, that I have interviewed the Kentucky head coach, like in a formal interview in my entire career. I've been doing this 20 plus years. I have never actually sat down and done an interview. I talked to Cal a few years ago. Didn't go that well. Bully Clyde and I, not a big fan. I'll be transparent there. And Tubby, when I got in, I just didn't have that type of relationship. Love Tubby. But this is the first time. So this is kind of an honor for me to actually be talking and on good terms with a Kentucky head coach. I like it.
Come on, man. I'm so excited to be on. And you're beautiful. You're like the truth box of college basketball. Love it or hate it, you get to tell the truth, man. I dig it.
How you doing? So first, can we go back? I want to go back to this. I want to go back to when you were getting into coaching and you called Mark Fox when he was at Georgia and you were at Columbia Medical School. Like, how dumb are you that you were going to give up? You did give up medical school to go make how much money for Mark Fox?
Well, so here's the deal. So Coach Fox and I have been dear friends forever, right? He was a GA when I was at the University of Washington as a player, and we spent an unbelievable amount of time together working out on the court. He was so good to me. Fast forward. He's killing it in coaching. I'm in medical school. I finished my first year. I'm not quite sure that like this is the deal for me. I call Fox. He says, "You're crazy. Don't ever, don't ever do this." We kept talking for the next 3 years. I'm starting my fourth year, and Coach Fox gets the Georgia job. And then it's kind of like, hey, if you're ever going to do this, this is the time. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm going. Coach is like, come be my assistant. But he didn't finish. He just said, come be my assistant. He didn't say, come be my assistant to the director of operations. So I was making a whopping $24,000 a year folding laundry and handing out water for Coach Fox. And it was actually one of the great experiences of my life, to be honest with you.
All right. What type of doctor would you have been? Like, I'm dying to know.
I would have been a bad doctor. First of all, it's hard for me to stay serious for more than a few minutes. Like my ability to stay focused and like, I would have been in question. But I was actually thinking about emergency medicine. I went in thinking orthopedic surgery after doing kind of rotations for a full year, my third year of medical school. I was kind of leaning more towards maybe an emergency medicine field, which tells you everything you need to know. Like I was kind of thinking about lifestyle. I was like, well, you work 15 days and you're off 15 days and you kind of do other stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm not serving anyone well if I don't want to be fully in.
Your bedside manner, though. They always talk about doctors' bedside manner. I'm not sure how it would have worked with you, Again, it's funny. I wonder if Kentucky fans know kind of who you are yet and your personality. Obviously you played there, but how has your personality changed since you were a player? Because under Pitino, I'm not sure how much you could even show your personality back then.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question because I'm still terrified of Coach. And so if I say the wrong thing, he's going to kill me. No, listen, I think one of the great things about my relationship with Kentucky is that we kind of got to grow up together. Like there's, right now, this tells you how old I am. I over the last 3 weeks, I've had so many students here be like, my mom, like, watch, my dad had your jersey, right? So, it does make me feel aged, but I don't know. I feel like I feel like I feel like this is home. And I feel like certainly we're going to get to know each other in a new capacity, but I feel like I do. This feels like home. And, when I first got here and we were kind of doing the tour where you're going around speaking to groups, and it was like I'd be standing there talking to a group of several hundred people. And as I'm speaking, this because you speak in public a lot. As I'm speaking and kind of making eye contact with people, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is a teammate, or this is one of my teachers from 30 years ago, or, this, and so that's just been such a spectacular experience for me. I've loved every second of it.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool to come back home and get the ovation that you got when you walked in to Rupp. I mean, that had to be like one of those surreal moments. Obviously, you got it as a player, but it's different when you walk in and everybody is so excited to see you. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen that, Pope. I don't know if I've ever seen a coach get that type of welcome back for you as you got when you walked into Rupp.
Well, there's definitely never been an introductory press conference like that ever in the history of the world. Like, that's the craziest thing you've ever seen, right?
Yes, yes.
But here's the beauty of it. It actually didn't have a lot to do with me. Like, that was Big Blue Nation, like, gathering together and saying, this is who we are, and this is why this place is different. Like, it was almost like it was more of like I don't think it was. I just think it was Big Blue Nation raising up and saying, "Hey, we got your back, and let's go do what people might not think we can do." It was. I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like it in any sport anywhere in the history of the world. It was incredible.
All right, so you were on our set. I wasn't there in Phoenix. I was still at the arena doing some actual work, but you came by, and I forget, it was Doster, probably Randolph Childress, and John Henson. Were they all there?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So you came on with them, and that was like a day before everything broke loose, right? A day before, I think, before Cal took the Arkansas job. Take me through, if you can, maybe a condensed version, but like how this whole thing went, and it went quick, because I remember calling you, and I had a few in me that night. I was at my my nephew's wedding rehearsal in Newport, Rhode Island, calling you, and you were scared. And I'll give you credit. You tried to say nothing. You tried to say nothing to me. It kind of worked, but just take me through that process of how it went, if you can, and how quickly it went.
Yeah, so one of my favorite pictures probably for the rest of my life is going to be Saturday morning. I was at the hotel. I just finished a workout, and I walked into the lounge, and there was Cal and Tubby sitting there together. And so I fanboyed them. They've both been so great and generous to me. So I walked up and I was like, "Hey guys, let me just jump in here and take a picture." And we talked for a second. I have a picture, like a selfie of the three of us.
No way.
And in fact, like, I just remember thinking and kind of talking to Cal at the time just about college basketball and where it was and everything. And I genuinely think, I don't know all the details of Tubby's life and Cal's life at the time, but I genuinely think that we all just were going about our business. And then within 30 hours, like, the world got turned upside down, certainly for Cal, as new opportunities presented themselves to him. And then it was just, man, it was just 4 days of mayhem. And then it wasn't until Thursday that I actually was on a Zoom with Mitch. And that was awesome. I think he's incredible. I just think he's incredible. And then Thursday night, because it's hard to keep any secrets at Kentucky. Thursday night, things kind of broke in one way or another. And then Friday, Kentucky made an official announcement. And then Sunday, we were walking into 24,000 fans in Rupp Arena. And it was everything you could imagine in between. It's pretty special.
So since, I don't know how many days it's been now. What's it been? 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
We're right at 3 weeks-ish. Yeah.
Crazy. It's only been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You got 9 players. You got 9 players on scholarship. That's pretty good. 9 players in 3 weeks. You haven't slept much. You actually look pretty good for somebody that, probably hasn't gotten a lot of sleep over the last few weeks. Because you and I have talked about this at BYU, the challenges you faced. And let's face it, you faced some. There's some advantages to that job too, but it's harder to get maybe as many athletes as you would probably like to get. Now you're at Kentucky. You can put together a team that there aren't many limitations on what you're able to do at Kentucky. You can probably construct this team to some degree how you want. Have you been able to do that so far, or has it just been such mayhem that it's like, we got to take what we can get at this point. We'll figure it out later. Let's, you obviously want to put together a team that fits, but it's hard to do when so much is coming at you so quickly, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, first, if you let me digress, I mean, my experience at BYU was incredible. Like there's so many people there that I love dearly. That administration and that fan base and friends and family there were so incredible to me, and I think that's an incredible job. I think it's really an awesome job. And Kevin is going to crush it there and kind of go next level. And I'm super excited about that. We'll have love in my heart for BYU forever. And the answer to that is yes, like Kentucky is Kentucky, right? It's I mean, as a staff now, we just kind of walk around shaking our head as we encounter everything is about Kentucky, and that's what we say over it's Kentucky. Like there's no other way to say it. It's Kentucky. It's the mecca of college basketball. It's and every statistic bears it out, win totals bear it out, banners bear it out. It's just a different place. And so you take that, and then you're working in a really condensed window, right? With where it's just everything happens so fast, and some interesting things happen. As what I think of myself as an offensive minded coach, and the first three kids that we signed out of the portal were three of the best defenders in the country. Like I think Lamont Butler, I think is probably the best defensive backcourt player in the country. And Ortega is right there with him. And then Amari is probably the best rim protecting defender in the entire country. And so, I think that was awesome. Actually, it made me feel so settled, so great. Clearly, those guys are really talented offensive players also, but and so they fit great. And then piece by piece, what we have now is we have a roster of 9 that we think will grow here in the next week or so. But so we've been really blessed to put together a roster that I think fits like brilliantly what we're trying to do. Like Andrew Carr was born to play for us. Yeah. And Kobe Brea is the most efficient. Look it up. He's the most efficient high major player in the last decade offensively. He's at 1.33 points per possession last year. The next closest guy is at 1.31. I've never seen numbers like what he did last year ever. And he is like exactly us, right? And you think about Kerr, Chris, and Colin Chandler and this whole group, Brandon Garrison, like this dude is just a rising star. So I think the pieces are incredible with how they fit together and how they fit us. And we couldn't be more excited. And then, one of the best mornings I've had is Jason Hart walked in the office and he's like, man, I don't know. I watched film on this Travis Perry last night. He's like, that dude's a baller, right? And so I like
Colin Chandler. Hey, when I saw Colin Chandler a couple summers ago, that dude can play.
Well, and listen, I just flew out to welcome him home. He's been serving a service mission, a church mission for the last 2 years. He's one of the most incredible young men you're ever going to meet. I mean, you think about that. He just took he's a top 25 player in the country, and he just set it aside to go serve people in one of the poorest countries in the world, in Western Africa, and then in DC, and then in London. And all that, you think about how incredible this young man is. And then as a very petty coach, he walked off the airport. I'm telling you, he's 2 inches taller, man. I was like,
hey, his hair. It's his hair, though. Come on.
Oh no, he's taller, man. He's and he's going to be a star. Like it just is. So when you ask the question, I know that's a long answer, but we kind of backed our way into what I think is a really, really intriguing roster for us that fits us. And I think these guys fit together. I think every single one of these guys is elite level character. I think this Lamont Butler is like a world-class winner and a world-class leader. And I think all the rest of these guys fit that way. I'm super excited about this group.
Whether you are a world-class athlete or a podcaster like me, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. After a 6-month season loaded with cross-country travel, I can promise you that proper recovery is a priority for me these days. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of the Field of 68. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or the EE system. If you haven't heard of the EE system yet, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Whether you're here in New Jersey or at one of the hundreds of other locations across the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. If you're interested in experiencing the EE system technology for yourself, go to unifiedhealing.com/unified68 to learn more and find a center near you. That's UNIFYD healing.com/UNIFYD, the number 6, the number 8. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment, and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including the EE system.
I've known Kerr Creaser for a while, obviously. And
Hey, tell
got
me,
some
you
stories.
know him. How excited are you for Big Blue Nation
Yes.
to witness this cat?
Listen, I told the story. I don't know if you know this story. I'm going to tell it. Hopefully, it won't get him in trouble. I don't want to get him in trouble.
Hey,
and I
but
don't
he
think
doesn't
will.
care.
Right.
He doesn't care.
And you
He's
won't
just
care
like,
either.
"Bring it."
You'll enjoy this story. I'm gonna boil it down to 30 seconds. All right. So a couple of years ago, UCLA beats Arizona at Pauley Pavilion, first matchup of the rivalry, and they're up, I don't know, 15 points with like 30 seconds left, and Mick Cronin calls a timeout at the end. So they come back, and I'm at the game in Tucson at McHale, and Arizona's up like 10 with 30 seconds left, and all of a sudden, timeout. And everybody's looking around. Well, who called it? Tommy didn't call it. Kerr called the timeout. Kerr called the timeout. He's like, screw you. Like, but you love that. You love that out of Kerr. He's got shit to him. He is tough. He can shoot it. And again, I think Kerr has really matured in a lot of ways on the court and even off the court. But yeah, Big Blue Nation's going to absolutely love Kerr Kriisa. Hey, can we go back to your
hey, let me add to Kirk because it's the big thing that was going around here is he was in international play playing against Luka. So there's a screenshot video of him nose to nose.
Talking
and
shit.
then at the post-game press conference, he's like, man, Luka, it's so easy to get in his head. I mean, who says that?
He doesn't care. It's the greatest thing about Kerr. The greatest thing.
And I'll tell you, he's an elite player. And we started talking to him, and he shut everything else down. Like, he's like, the only place I want to be is the University of Kentucky. This is the only place. And we had to sit on it for like 10 days because we had to work out some academic stuff and whatever. And he's just like, nope. He's like, I don't even want to talk to anybody else. I don't care about NIL. I don't care about anything else. I want to go put on a Kentucky jersey and play in front of that fan base. Come on, man. It's so cool.
Well, what he told me, and this is where I say he matured. I'm in the locker room at West Virginia after they lost, and we're talking, and obviously it was a tough year for him at West Virginia. And he said, number one, I want to go somewhere I want to win again. And number two, I'm okay now. I've learned I don't need to be the guy anymore. Like, I'll take a back seat. I'll come off the bench. If we have really good guards, whatever it is, I want to win. And I'm proud of him for growing up like that, for maturing, because he would not have said that 2 or 3 years ago.
And that's why this cat's going to have the greatest year of his basketball career. I've been recruiting him for 6 years. Like, I was in Lithuania eating like street sandwiches with him, trying to recruit this cat. And then it transferred. I tried to recruit him. Finally we got him, and I can't wait.
You got 9 guys. Looking at your roster, I feel like you probably need one more dude who can break you down and go get a basket. I'm not asking you to comment on who it is right now, but am I accurate with that? Maybe a bigger wing, who you can give the ball to at the end of the clock and say, hey, go get us one?
Yeah, 100%. Like a bucket getter. Yes, a bucket getter that fits us. We got a short list right now that we're working on. We also need to add to the front line. We need another frontline guy that we're working on now, and so we have a relatively short list there. And then we kind of have a floater, like a floating spot where we might have somebody that we really, really believe is going to develop, but is probably not going to eat up a ton of minutes for us this year. So, but everything changes, man. When you add a piece, it kind of changes everything else, and so we'll see where we go.
Yeah, that guy might be, and you can't comment, a local shooter. That guy, the development piece, we'll see. How'd you do with the Derby? Before I let you go, like, what was that day like coming back, actually having money in your pocket? Because, by the way, I looked at your career earnings in the NBA. Your career earnings in the NBA, I have it here. You ready for this?
Yeah, bring it.
$4,432,000, and you are now making $5 million plus.
My first year in the league, I made 240. It was either 240, $280,000. How beautiful is this league minimum now?
Hey, you could put down a lot of money on an exacta at the Kentucky Derby, right?
But here's the truth. You don't understand. Like, I'd never seen money like that. I'll never forget. I'm with the Indiana Pacers. First of all, I didn't like the fact that I even wore Jerry West for one day is like it puts the league to shame. It questions like how good that league really is, right? So I jump on. We're going to training camp. I'm with the Indiana Pacers. Larry Bird's first year. It's like every dream I've ever had in my life come true, right? So we got on the plane to go to training camp, and I'm like at 45 minutes early. I'm just like, please don't leave me. Don't forget me. So I get on the plane. David Craig, our trainer, hands me an envelope. So I go sit down, and I open the envelope. It's like $3,000 in cash. You don't understand. I'm like turned over like this, trying to make sure nobody sees. And then in my mind, I'm like, wait, since I'm the first one, did he just give me money to hand out to all the other players, right? I'm like, oh, this is not just for me. This is for everybody. It was just the walking money for the week, right?
Praise.
And so then he's handing everybody blah, blah, blah. I got to keep every dollar. I couldn't believe it. And so
did you bet at the Derby? Did you bet, or you just go and schmooze?
I was a very hopeful celebrator. I was actually there's a lot of horses in the dirt. I'm at the University of Kentucky, so cheering for an individual horse can get really politically complicated.
I can't do it.
But I went with Sierra Leone because I just figured Colin Chandler had just got back from his mission the night before, and I'd been there to greet him, and he went to serve in Sierra Leone. I'm like, it has to happen, right? Yeah. And if there wasn't such like a physical confrontation down the stretch, I think he wins it.
Yeah, it was a hell. I mean,
it was so close.
What a race! I didn't win.
Unbelievable.
I took the favorite, and
the Derby is if for anyone who hasn't been to the Derby, it's like an event like no other. It just is. It's incredible.
I went with my wife. It just came up on our Facebook feed. It was 8 years ago.
You need to come with me next year.
We're in. We were going to go this year. We were going to go this year. We'll go next year because we can go pick up my daughter in Bloomington and drive over. It's 2 hours.
Bring the whole crew. We do the show from there. Let me be a guest host.
We can do it. We can do the whole show from there. Are you kidding? We're in. We're in.
For only my first year Indiana per diem money, I'm in. Let's do this.
All right, listen, I'm going to let you go because I know you got other things to do. We can do part 2 when things slow down. Maybe we'll do part 2 at the Peach Jam.
Love it. Let's go.
All right.
Yep.
Listen, congrats. Really happy for you that you're back home. So cool. And again, I kind of told everybody, I think one thing that really is lost with you, and I talked to enough people around you, including Mark Fox, is your work ethic is incredible. And, again, I looked at it and I said, all right, these former NBA guys, I've criticized them, a lot of them. I don't count you in that group. You didn't make enough money. You didn't make enough money to be in that group of those guys who have 100 million, 50 million. that don't need the job. For you, 5 million right now, whether it's 5, whether what it was at BYU, you are going to work your ass off. Like, that's the thing. And I think it means so much to you. Am I wrong, to get this Kentucky brand where you want it to be again?
But here's the deal, Jeff. I would do this for $0. This is like, and that's the thing. Like, we're not sleeping a lot right now, but you know, like last night I was out at an event super late with a really, really special group of people here at the University of Kentucky, and then it was an early morning wake up, and you roll out of bed. It's just like, this is like, no one gets to do this, man. I would do this for free. Don't tell that to Mitch, but I would do this for $0. This is the greatest job. And I say college basketball, this might be the greatest job in basketball. And the fact that we get to take a swing at it, and like my whole heart is here. And like, I know what this state is, and I know what this means to all of us. Like, I'm a fan too. Like, I'm going to be upset with myself as a fan, mad at the coach if we don't win a game, right? That's just, I know how it feels. And so the chance we have to get to be back here is just, it's on such a deep personal level. It means everything to me, and we're really blessed.
All right. Well, listen, we'll talk soon. Mark Pope, new Kentucky head coach. Congrats, and I'll see you in July.